Well, good morning, guys. Welcome to Words from a Friend podcast. I'm your host, Marty Carey, and this is the podcast that follows my book, Words from a Friend, a daily guide to a purposeful life. It's available at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. We're on a 365-day inner journey together, so happy and grateful to have you along. We're on day 84 of that journey. Today's message is called Listening to Love. Listening to love. And it goes like this. The perceptions you think and then outwardly offer in any situation will dictate the energetic course almost immediately, taking you down a pleasant road or a turbulent trail. The tone and the words you use will be like a conductor in an orchestra. If you choose a loving course to solve life's issues, you will have chosen the fastest way to solving them and learning from their guidance. Understanding, empathy, and compassion are the higher perspectives that lead to lasting solutions over temporary fixes. Right? Lasting solution. Well, this is it. When you're being overloaded, by fear, as soon as that fear is gone, you're back to doing the way you want to do it, right? That's why fear can't be the master. There's going to be no longevity. There's got to be love. Only love takes you the whole route. Only you won't feel wanting to do that. You don't want to live under fear. You don't want to live under the dictates of another, right? You're here to live free. So freedom includes being free from your own ego. So that those inner dictates, like guilt and shame and, holding on to old dusty energies and stuff like that just don't serve you, but you just keep using them because you're used to using them and you don't even think about it. You don't even think about it. You haven't made it conscious yet. You haven't shined the light on it yet, right? Well, that's what love does. That's what love is for. Love conquers all. Love shines a light on all. Love heals all. Love heals all. So that's why you want to let that light in. There's stuff to heal in there. There's stuff that, your childhood self is still holding on to. You know that. You're holding on to stuff. There's still old stories of the past. It's just like, oh my God. Every time I see that, I'm back in time. And it's like, right, but you got to learn to let go of those ghosts of the past. They don't have any power over you. You can look at them, but it's like, oh my God. Kid stuff. It was kid stuff. Old selves that you're still holding on to as your current self. That's why you're still holding on to that scared, past self, right? You can honor those and just give love to those and say, okay, all right, I'm here now. I'm here in the now. This is where I am in my journey. This is where I am. A new self. I'm a new self now. I've been working on myself. That's it. I've been peeling away old onion petals. I've been peeling them away so that I can say, that no longer has power over me. You don't let it have power over you. That's really what it is. You can feel the fear, but you don't let it stop you from doing what you know is right, what you know is correct for your journey, what God is asking you to do and to move forward in and with. It's scary because we're growth-seeking beings. We're here to grow. So growth can be scary because it's just you're entering new uncharted territory. That's all right. That's what the journey is. That's what's called the adventure of the journey is not knowing, right? That's okay. So that's why you have to be cool with the unknown, right? Because you realize you're going to create it rather than let whatever happens create your world. It's a different way of going about it, my friend. Different way of going about it. You let love lead the way. You learn what that means. And you stop letting your ego lead the way, the false self, and just leading the way with old habits and old stuff that it's just your clunky Model T self. You want to move up to the sports car self, or the luxury car self, whatever floats your boat. That's it. You're already it. You just got to let go of those old cars. Let them go. They're not serving you, and they're heavy. They're heavy to hold on to those. All right. The tone and words you will use will be like a conductor in an orchestra. If you choose a loving course to solve life's issues, you will have chosen the fastest way to solving them and learning from their guidance. Understanding, empathy, and compassion are the higher perspectives that lead to lasting solutions over temporary fixes. Your ego will always argue against this course, calling it weak or ineffective. No, this is the quicker way. This is the quicker way. But fear is a great temporary motivator, right? That hammer. But boy, nobody wants to be around it for too long. Everybody's discovering their own freedom now, charting their own course. Now's the time for harmony. Harmony is the only thing that's going to work in this new world. The old ways you're going to find are very ineffective. The ego is going to be very ineffective in a new world because we're all seeing it for what it is. Utter buffoonery. Okay. Your ego will always argue against this course, calling it weak or ineffective. Pay attention to this voice. It's the one that betrays you. That's how you know. That's how you learn which voice am I being guided by. Which voice am I? Well, you're the more subtle voice, really. Not the one that's slam banging around to get its way. Misbehaving, all kinds of crap, and stuff that you've been taught as it's all you have for tools. That's okay. You can upgrade. You're here to upgrade those little ways. That's personal growth, and it's a gift you give to yourself. Personal growth is a gift you give to yourself. It's like, oh, that's so hard. Oh man, I'm just going to stay the way this is. I'm more comfortable in the garbage and suffering in the garbage than suffering a different way to get to where I want to be. All right, the suffering and getting to where you want to be is just the short-term way. Short-term pain equals long-term gain. The short term of it is just saying yes, and you're getting through the first days of school until you realize a couple of weeks in, all right, okay, this ain't so bad. All right, I knew this from here. I'm just here to carry this forward, and it's not as hard as I thought it would be, and all this stuff. Well, that's what happens when you get kicked through a new door. You start getting to learn what the new door is asking of you, and that's it. Keep knocking on those doors. Don't stop knocking on the doors of growth. No, that's where you find everything, your full potential for coming here, your full reason for being here, your full gifts unfolded. Boom, throw them out there under the Christmas tree. Here they are. This is what God put in me. This is what he wanted me to share while I was here. And that's it. This is what you get. And boy, I'll tell you what, if it's from God, yeah, you're going to be given gifts left and right because you recognize that the gift is really you. It's the light of you. It's your light, right? How many beautiful, parents or grandmothers out there that's all they live for is to give you their light. That's their gift. It's like, hey, they're always like giving you stuff. Here, take this home with you. Take this, sit down, have something to eat. They've found the gift of life is just simple, passionate giving from the heart, and not people-pleasing, love-spreading, not people-pleasing to get something at all. They're already getting it from giving it. You understand that when you see a person like that, like a nice grandmother, that is just her joy. That is just her joy to give those freshly made meatballs to you. That's like her hands were in there, and it's like, you wouldn't want anybody else's hands in there, but grandma's hands, they can be in that meat, man. That's the love in there. I know that love is in there, and I'm gobbling that up, right? Because it's the energy of it. That's what you remember when they go. It's like, it's a warm hug in your memories, isn't it? It's a warm hug every time, and then you spot it out. I love you, Graham. Love you. Just because you're recognizing that gift that you've always had in here. You're counting your blessings. You're bringing them up on the screen of your mind all the time instead of just being the hamster wheel of doom and gloom. That's it. That's how gratitude works for you. Brings you up the elevator into your true self, into what life has been really about for you, beyond the struggles, beyond the stuff that we have to learn, beyond those hardships that we have to go through, is the gold that's sifted out from that. And it's like, you bring that up. When you're feeling down, you bring those up to remind you. Those are just reminders. The reminders of all that work you did, through the crap, the mud and the stones and all that stuff sifting. And then out comes this beautiful gold that is left behind for you as that gift of the physical human way of uncovering those gifts, noticing them, the working hard to get to your dream. It's not all unicorns and rainbows. No, it ain't. It's a lot less of those. It's a lot more passionate work. It's like going to the gym, this sucks, but boy, I'm so glad I did it. That pain of you're walking around like the Tin Man without oil after your workout, but inside you're going, I feel great that I did it. I feel great. And then that after some time, you're walking less like the Tin Man, but you're just walking in the strength of having done all that working out. You know what I'm talking about. The strength of having done it. Strength of having done the work. Well, the mindset is no different than that. In fact, the mindset is of utmost importance so that it guides the rest of the ship along. Where you link your mindset up to every day is your first intention. Your first intention. Okay? My wagon is hitched to love today. And I refuse to take myself, I refuse to unhitch my wagon the best I can. Refuse to. And that just means being the beneficial presence and being more in that vibe already. I'm on this earth to help. I'm on this earth to, pop a smile on my face, and because there is so much suffering, there is so much bullshit, there is so much of it. It's like, all right, well, a smile is pretty welcome in that, isn't it? Isn't it? And you got a beautiful one, so don't let that sit in the box. No, take that out, right? Like a jack in the box. Pop into somebody's face with it. All right? If you choose personal judgments, negative assumptions, and punitive energy as part of your spoken word and usual course of action, you've decided that love has no room here, has no place here, right? You've just kicked out the beneficial presence. You've kicked it out. It's like, nope, I don't need God on this one. My earthly self can handle this, all right? Just what I've learned how to handle these whippersnappers, right? Is that right? Or can you just pause a minute and go, okay, yeah, but I've been studying myself. And I say, how can I shine up this old Model T, put a new engine in it, bring it up to date, some power brakes and steering, that kind of stuff. You're upgrading your car with new information, with truth, really. You're upgrading your vehicle with truth every day, a little more. Reminder that that's who you really are, okay? And that's what love conquers the fear that you feel. Love is the way past the fear. Love is the way to to draws your dreams in, because you're doing something that you love and you're putting it into it, right? If you're becoming a chef or whatever, you could tell. I mean, in our business, you could tell who's going to stay in our industry, who really loves it, and who's just like, all right, I'm just here for college, and then I'm going to be a doctor, right? So that's okay. We've got some gems, because you can pick them out and you go, okay, this guy could be part of this team, one of the core team, for a long time. They want to be. If they keep that passion and they love the vibe, well, that's what it's all about. Creating the good vibe for things to flourish, having the good soil for people who want to do what we like to do, and then join our team, and then boom, we all grow together. The older plants teach the younger plants how to grow, right? That's it, the older plants. Okay, let's see. You may not even be aware of your own energetic state, tone, or habitual pattern. This state is your spiritual responsibility to yourself, your health, your happiness, and well-being. You're also responsible for what energy you give away. Well, that's it. That's the self-awareness. What am I giving? What am I giving? What's my energy giving today? Right? What do I feel like? You wake up and say, I am going to give the world hell today. I feel like garbage. Well, just make sure you're not helping yourself to feel like garbage like that every morning, right? You got to start working in your favor if that's the case. You got to just create some new habits. It's up to you. That's what it's all. It's always up to us. We're create some new habits. I got to learn a few new things. And then once you learn those few new things and you add those new things, you're replacing the old habits that kept you down with new habits that bring you up. All right? That serve the love wheel. Self-love is the get up. I love myself enough to get up from this. I want to grow from this. I no longer want to carry this. I no longer look at this as a value in my growth at all. This place that I've been in, or, this vibe I've been around, all of it. Don't be afraid to grow. It's what you came here to do, okay? Your growth will inspire others to grow. It's not like you're leaving anybody. You're just doing your thing, loving everybody as you keep growing. That's it. That's service. That's serving the light and service to the light. All the same thing. It's all the same thing. All right? You are responsible for what energy you're giving away. You're either prospering or you're polluting. If you go through life never truly knowing yourself, you'll get stuck in these dramas all the time. You've been unwittingly choosing them. It's the way you know. It's just the way you know. It's like drama is the weapon of choice. It's like, okay, don't worry, I'm good at this. I was raised in this. I'm ready to go. Okay? Great. You're going to stay in that wheel if that's what you keep choosing. But what do you really want your life to feel like? Do you want that in here all the time? Always ready, like a rat trap, ready to spring? Because you're living from the outside instead of cleaning up this place where it doesn't have a rat trap. You get rid of your rat traps. There's a bunch of them in there called triggers, ready to go off anytime somebody comes in with something. Snap, that trigger goes, right? So that is the work, my friends. That's the work, but it is the most profitable work you'll ever do. It is the most personally profitable work you'll ever do. Because when you do it, then what you put out into anything that you make in the world, anything you create in the world, anything you decide to do in the world, will have your love quotient in it. It'll have your love quotient in it. And that's the best you can ever do. And the people that love whatever you do, they'll find it. They'll find it. Just like that law of attraction, that's what it is. Like finds like. So not that narcissists don't attract empaths, because they do. But once you're a strong empath, once you realize that compassion that you've had, that you've been covering over and defending with your own ego because you don't think anybody else has that compassion, because we never go deeper with each other to find that we all really face the same shit, all go through the same shit, and maybe we've been raised differently, that we didn't have the emotional nurturing that a lot of people had, that we take for granted in some places, right? So you got to recognize that too. If you're not taught, if you're not taught, you may never come across that. But lots of times what happens is we just get to the lowest of the low of ourselves. And that's the only way we've ever heard up is God. It's like, oh, well, it's the last ditch, like I always talk about it. No, that's the first one. The first, middle, last, and only way to bring yourself up, out, forward, and let God overflow that cup by you using that God energy and God speed to move forward in life from whatever you're going through, whatever you've been through, and whatever you want to create. Okay? It's the same stuff. And you already are it. You don't have to do anything to get it. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody to get it. You certainly do not have to prove yourself to God. He created you just to be this way, just to come here and just to learn the lessons that you're learning. So that's why we embrace everything as, okay, it sucked bad. It was horrifying. I didn't like it one bit, and it took me forever to get past the shock and tragedy of it all. We all go through that stuff. And then as time goes on, we process it. But remember that everything in life, including this life we're in, is a process. It's a process of a spirit coming to have a human incarnation, a human journey, as a human, as this physical contraption with an eternal light carrying it around, and that's it. So, and we have free will. We have free will to just, if once we know it, we say, yeah, but that's not for me. I'm okay with this. With free will to just stay and do whatever we're doing and stay low and defeated and unknowing. Because remember, if you're just going by your ego does not know God. It's EGO, means edging God out of your life. It means edging your light out, not giving your light a say in the matter, not getting to know your light, not having communion with it, not understanding that you are it. But once you understand that you are it, just the concept of that is the door on the doorway in, knowing that you're already that. And here, the heaven within is already, it's there. And what you're doing is you're just decluttering. On your way, you're knocking on doors to get and say, I want to find my way back home. Finding your way back home is chucking off old stuff, revealing the light, moving into the light, feeling lighter. Oh man, God loves me. I always thought I was disappointing God. I thought I had no way back home. I thought I was just, a lame brain and all this stuff. I tortured myself inside. My self-talk is horrible. I've treated others poorly. I have lots of regrets. All of it. All of it. You can pack it up in a suitcase and give it to God when you turn that way, when you turn in and say, I've had enough of that. I've had enough of giving that stuff away. It's not who I really want to be. I can't be that anymore. God's kept kicking me through a new door, and I'm going to say yes this time. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to hide from that. I'm not going to hide from my own light. Why would I do that? That is my salvation. We save ourselves by just agreeing to walk in the way. We save ourselves by agreeing to walk in the truth of who we really are. The truth of who we are. That's what Jesus was teaching us. He wasn't teaching us a religion. He was not. Jesus was teaching us that we are the light, just like him. And we can do things just like him. And even more. His words. Not mine. His words. You are that too. You are that too. All right? So rise in that knowing. Then do that thing you want to do. Do those things you want to do. You're here to have a great human experience. You got to get the crap out of the way in order to do it. You know, the crap in here, get it out of the way so you feel alive again. You feel alive again. You know, you're not caring what people think anymore. You're not doing any of that. You're just doing your mission. You came here to be a light. How can I be that light in whatever I do? Boom. You're in. You're in. Carry on. Carry on. That's it. You know, carry on. So, did I do the CTA? CTA, let your heart lead the way. Practice makes beauty. Practice makes beauty because you're just practicing your beauty. You're practicing your beauty. You can't help but be there. Can't help but be there. Simple stuff. I'm not saying, hey, everybody, you know, I got clowns and balloons. No. Just, you know, the good vibe, baby. Simple, good vibe. Real. Real. We all face the shit. We all go through the stuff. Doesn't care what it looks like on social media all the time. We all go through it. I'll go through it. So, but there is but one great way. One great way, and walked in a billion different great ways. We each have our own way home. We each walk our own unique way home. And we are to help each other on that walk home. We're just walking each other home, as Ram Dass says. If you've never listened to Ram Dass, Ramdass, Ram Dass, that's his, is that a Hindu name? I'm not sure. That's the name he took. He's in the 60s with the guy that created LSD. And look what's going on right now with all the psilocybins and the mushroom. They're creating the abilities for soldiers to come out of PTSD with some of this stuff that they banned, you know, so long ago. Not that you want people going around on LSD, but in a mushroom form, they have it so that they're helping to get rid of that story that's stuck in their head of being in war and having to face war, that hell that lives in people's innards, you know, horrifying. But we have that in all of us in many different ways, that PTSD, that stuff that we're still hanging on to, negativity that's just weighing us down in many different ways. You know, it doesn't have to be PTSD for us to feel weighed down, you know. But what brings us out of that is being able to leave the old stories behind. You know, it really does. And that's really what that world is starting to help, you know, the worst of the worst cases of it, is to help them to recognize that, you know, they're much bigger than that. They're much bigger than even the story that they lived, you know, and the things they faced. And, you know, Jesus taught that because he knew it. He lived it, you know. Even when he was on the cross, he's saying, you know, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know, forgive them, for the ones that are stabbing me, the ones that made me drag this cross up to Galilee. And it's like, come on, will you? You know, that's the metaphor, that's the ego that has caused all of that. It's called all of that. It's separation from the knowing that we are the Christ. We are the Christ. We are the way. We are the light ourselves. We are that which Jesus tells us we are. We are that which God tells us we are. We too are that. We're not separate from that. We are the nature. We are God's nature. And we can get lost in the earthly lower self and all that entails. Greed, everything that separation brings, everything that notion that we are separate from each other and we don't owe each other, you know, the kindness or any of that. It's dog eat dog, kill or be killed. And we're leaving that. Yeah, we're leaving that. Yep. So we got to leave it in ourselves, and then we have to plant ourselves where we are and anchor our light there and say, this is who I am. This is where I am. I'm going the way of the light from here forward. It's all I want to give my family. It's all I want my family to have, you know, from me, the lessons from me, The example I want to leave is just short ride. Don't take everything so seriously. Work on yourself, and remember always that you are the light you seek, and you have the power of that light to create anything in your life. So create good, and create good in other people's lives with that same wand of goodness. Okay, that's it. That's it. It's simple. When you start doing it, you feel great about it, and you want to, have no more of the nonsense. It's just a natural leaving of an old self, that peeling away the skin from last year's snake and riding that fire horse, baby. We're riding the fire horse. We're riding it the whole way back into remembrance so that we can all live a better life in this place while we're here and give to the people that come next the gift that we did the work, that we did it together. We're going to have to do that together. That's what unity brings. It brings brother and sisterhood and unity in consciousness that we can't forget. We can no longer forget and say, all right, well, back to the wars. It's like, the day after 9/11, right? Okay, we were all together. And then we went back to sleep. We went back to sleep because the world put us back to sleep. No, yeah, okay, it was great for a day, but don't forget, these guys are still assholes, and that side is this, and this side is that, and the wheel keeps going. The wheel of the Matrix keeps going, keeps producing, keeps filming, keeps putting out the stuff, and it's just like this. We're like, we're all fat from negativity. Ugh. It's over. It's over. No longer walk that path. You don't have to walk that path. Walk ahead. Walk ahead. Fill your life with the things that bring you light, not the things that bring you down. And serve that apple pie self up. All right? I want you guys to have a beautiful day. Beautiful day. You and yours. Much love and light to everybody. And we'll see you tomorrow.